You hit the gym, you eat relatively clean, you're more disciplined than anybody around you. So why don't you look like it? Why are you still skinny fat? Because discipline without structure is just organized chaos. And in this video, in the next few minutes, I'm going to be showing you the exact two main reasons why your body does not reflect the effort you're putting in. And I have created actually a full-blown presentation for you. So let's just move into my laptop and let's break everything down so you can finally build that lean, athletic body you fucking deserve, to be fair, because you do deserve it. So yeah, let's just transfer to my laptop. All right, welcome to my laptop, and let's just run you through the two main sneaky reasons why you don't look like you work out and hit the gym, even though you're doing all the right things. You're eating healthy, you're hitting the gym, you're being consistent, you're basically a definition of what I call a hard worker that does not have a body of a hard worker. And I can totally relate to that because, as you can basically see on these pictures, on all these pictures, I was a really huge hard worker. So I would run like 10K, I would run a lot, I would do challenges like 75 hard, I would hit the gym, eat clean and everything. But despite all of that, despite being like one of the biggest hard workers I actually known around me, and this is not me being egotistic, this is just me saying that I know I was a fucking hard worker. But even through all of that, as you can see, I had very low muscle. I always had this annoying, ugly, flabby belly fat. So I was super skinny, but when it comes to like me looking with the shirt on, I was really skinny. But when it came off, when that shirt came off, I was really embarrassed about my body because I had this flabby belly, as you can see, these man boobs, and even right here, I ran what is called a Spartan race. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's basically this really extreme race with all these obstacles, really hard and everything. And still, I did not really look like that good. And this is not so much as a recent picture, honestly. Like, this is not so old. And I still had this like this lower belly that just wouldn't go away and everything. But yeah, it was really not a pleasant place to be in because I was a hard worker, but I definitely, as you can see, didn't look like one. So the reason or like the two main sneaky reasons why you don't look like you work out is, let me basically just run you through them. So reason number one is the fact, wait, yeah, that you eat healthy, but you have no real awareness of how much you're actually eating, because eating healthy does not equal fat loss. Let me repeat that. Eating healthy does not equal fat loss. And what I mean by this is that there's this very common misconception that people think that, yes, I'll just eat healthy and I'll automatically build the body that I want. But the thing is, you can eat the healthiest diet ever and still gain fat. And you can eat like the unhealthiest diet ever and still lose fat. Because there's this thing called your maintenance calories, this line, for example. And this is how much you need to eat in order to keep your current weight. But you can be eating the healthiest diet ever and be above the maintenance and gain fat, or you can eat the unhealthiest diet ever and still lose fat because you're under your maintenance? And so fitness is a numbers game. If you just follow the right numbers, you will lose fat, build more muscle, etc. And as a skinny fat man, you cannot just rely on just eating healthy. You actually need to know your numbers. And so the ideal number that you should be hitting is your maintenance minus 300. So the way you can basically calculate your maintenance calories is by dividing your body weight in pounds, and this will take a second, and this will be really ugly because I'm like drawing this on my keyboard or like my just touchpad on my laptop. You want to do your body weight in pounds times 14, and that is your maintenance. And what you want to do after that is that you want to take that maintenance and subtract 3. Ooh, this is really ugly. Subtract 300. So basically, your body weight in pounds times 14, that is your maintenance, minus 300. That's what you want to do. And you actually want to track your meals, because without it, you will have no actual awareness of how much you're eating or how little you're eating. Because as a skinny fat man, you can't really undereat, but you also can't, like crazily overeat. You have to be something, basically just a small deficit that allows you to lose fat while keeping, or in some cases, it is even possible to build muscle while losing fat. That's the ideal case. But, like we want to be at least keeping our muscles while losing that fat, which is why we will only get you on this small of a deficit of 300 calories. So, for example, if your maintenance is 2,800, you want to divide it, or you want to subtract 300 from it, which means that your daily deficit, your daily calorie target is 2,500. And that's not even like extreme. You won't feel like you're, starving yourself. You won't feel like you're, like dying and going to sleep hungry and stuff. You'll still be able to enjoy the good stuff. Because to this day, honestly, I'm losing fat right now because I've come to a point where I can bulk up without gaining that much fat. And so I went through a little winter bulk. And so after that, obviously, I want to lose some fat because I don't want to stay bulky. So right now that I'm losing fat, I'm actually keeping a small deficit right now of about 500. And I'm still enjoying, cookies every single day because they are a part of my diet. That is kind of like the 80-20 principle I want you to follow as well. So 80% whole foods, 20% whatever you want, if it's your macros, obviously. And so you want to be following this 300 calorie deficit while, and this is really important, while hitting 1 g of this is really bad, protein. Let's say this is protein, right? Per pound of your body weight. So per pound. And that's what you really want to follow, because if you're not hitting your protein targets, you will simply, you will lose muscle in the deficit, and that will make your problem even worse. Because if you're skinny fat, you're under muscle and you have more fat than you would like to. So you cannot really afford losing that muscle, because if you lose that fat but have no muscle underneath it, you will just look like a smaller, like more deflated version of skinny fat. And you will just end up looking something like this. Because this was me before, this is me after, when I tried to cut down. I look a bit leaner, but still have a lower belly fat and no real muscle. And that what just makes your problem a lot worse. So instead of just eating healthy and having no real awareness of how much you're actually eating, because eating healthy does not equal fat loss, you actually want to be eating in a deficit of 300 using this equation and focusing on hitting 1 gram of protein per pound of your body weight and actually tracking your meals in, let's say, an app like MyFitnessPal. You don't need to be super excessive with it. Just make sure you're actually somehow tracking and having awareness and being sure that you are in this small deficit and hitting your protein. If that's the only thing you focus on when you're trying to lose fat and fix a skinny fat look, you will like fucking crush it. So that was, like a mistake, or that was like a reason number one. And to get into reason number two, and there's a little bonus as well, as you can see. And so just to move into bonus number two, or just my bad, reason number two, we want to be, not only hitting the gym, because the second reason is that you hit the gym, but you don't have a real system for progression, because muscle needs stimulus to grow, obviously. It needs to have some reason to grow, like a car won't go faster until you give it a reason to go faster by pressing the accelerator, like really hard, or at least slightly harder, and the slightly harder is a really important part, because why don't you explain? So lifting the same weights every single week is not sufficient stimulus, because back when I was skinny fat, when I looked like this or this or this or this, my main problem was that, yes, I was hitting the gym and doing all the right stuff in the gym, but I was not really progressing at all. I was just lifting the same ways. I would go through the same weight, same motions, just go through the motions. I was the definition of go through the motions. So I was disciplined, but I was not disciplined with the right stuff. And that's why I was stuck skinny fat, right? Because I had no real reason to build muscle. I wasn't really focusing on hitting my protein. I was just focusing on eating healthy. And I wasn't really like progressing at the gym. I was only hitting the gym. And that was the problem, right? Because you actually want to have some kind of like system for progression. And so we don't really want to be like ego lifting and like driving or like lifting crazy weights like like you don't want to jump up from 100-pound bench press to like 300 pounds because I said you need to progress. Not at all. There's a very specific way to progress every single week where you push yourself. This is your comfort zone, and you push yourself just slightly above the comfort zone. That's how you grow without really dying out there and like risking injury and stuff. And so this method is called the double progression method. And the way this works, and get ready for another round of my really ugly drawing. Basically, the way this works is that let me just move my camera right here. And so you want to work and mainly focus on compound lifts. Obviously, like that's the main part. You want to be focusing on compound lifts, like let's say bench press or squats or pull-ups, weighted dips, or body weight dips. Basically, those like compound lifts that use multiple parts of your bodies. That's like the biggest ROI kind of exercise group that you wanted to be doing. But generally, we want to be working in a rep range of 4 to 6 reps. And we also want to be focusing on 3 sets only. So 4 to 6 reps, 3 sets, that's all you need to be focusing on to really progress and get the most results out of your gym sessions. So 4 to 6 rep range, 3 sets. And the way you want to go about it is that you want to pick, first of all, you want to pick a weight that you can lift for at least 4 reps and 3 sets. And you want to be working with this exact weight until you can hit 6 reps on all. And this is again really ugly, but 6 reps on all 3 sets. That means you have completely maxed out the whole 4 to 6 rep range, as I already mentioned right here. Right here, you have maxed it out, which means that to progress, you now want to go from, let's say you have hit 6 reps on all 3 sets with, let's say, 800 pounds. So let's say you hit this maxed out rep range sets on week 3. So on week number 4, what you want to do is you want to move up 5 pounds. Yeah, and the S is really ugly, but you want to move up 5 pounds after you have maxed out the whole 4 to 6 rep range. And you literally just want to repeat the whole process all over again. Yeah, and I'm kind of getting better at it. This shit takes practice, honestly, but I'm getting better at it. So basically, instead of just going through the motions at the gym and doing like random exercises, doing random rep ranges, random weights, etc., just because it feels good, feels productive, feels consistent, feels disciplined, instead of that, ditch that idea. And if you actually want to get results, you want to be using what I call the double progression method, where you want to work in the 4 to 6 rep range, 3 sets on mainly compound lift. That's what you want to be doing. And once you basically pick a weight that you can lift for at least 4 reps and 3 sets, work with it until you can hit 6 reps on all 3 sets. And once you have done that, just to kind of like recap it, you have maxed out the whole 4 to 6 rep range, which means that on the next week or on your next session where you're training the same body part or some kind of like muscle group, like let's say push or pull or legs, you actually want to move on that certain exercise up 5 pounds. So you want to add 5 pounds. So let's say you go from 100 to 105 pounds and you literally want to repeat the whole process like forever, honestly. Like that's what you kind of like do. And obviously there is a part in time and place for certain like deload weeks where you go a bit lighter or like complete rest weeks, because we don't want to injure ourselves. If your body's telling you that, yes, I'm tired, you're not lifting the same weights anymore, you're getting a bit more tired, you're losing weight, or like you can, you know, if you're losing weight a bit too fast, you actually want to ease off a little bit. You don't want to go crazy with it. Give your body the rest it needs, and then you go on the next week. Like it's as simple as that. So this was like reasons why you're not, or that this was like a reason number 2 why you're not seeing any progress despite working out and doing all the right things. And so having both these main reasons out of the way, there is one sneaky, and I mean one really sneaky bonus reason. And that is that you haven't yet had a game plan call with me. And this is honestly the most crucial one, because if this video helped, I want to invite you to a chat where we will go over your goals, struggles, like main obstacles, and your basically stuff that is holding you back the most. We'll analyze what you're doing, see what you're doing wrong so that we can, adapt and give you the best game plan for you moving forward so that you can fix a skinny fat look and build that lean athletic physique you're after. Not necessarily bodybuilding, but basically something like this. You're not super crazy shredded. You still love your life. You're enjoying your favorite foods. You're not making fitness your life. You basically look like a lean version where you feel confident without your shirt on, and like you're not self-conscious anymore. Like you can easily take your shirt off anywhere without feeling it there, right? And so on this call, we'll basically just come up with the best plan for you to escape that skinny fat trap and build a body like this in the next, let's say, even 16 weeks or less. Like you can easily see results in 16 weeks or less. But obviously, the full transformation would last a bit longer, obviously. But if you'd be honestly interested in this, if this video helped and you would like to see even like better results, and definitely, book this call with me. I'll be super happy to hop on the chat with you. Like just chat, no pressure, no anything. And yeah, honestly, if you actually want to change your skinny fat physique, I'll be super, super fucking down to chat to you, as I said. So you can find the link for the chat in the description. Make sure you honestly like go on it, because like there might not be like a lot of spots left. But yeah, definitely looking forward to, like chatting with you. And yeah, hope this video helped, and peace out.